There's so much to unpack there. And one thing that I like, there's a synergy of many of the technologies that I love and am drawn to are that they work with the electrical body, the energy body. And can you describe how NeuFit uses current or energy to create change in the human tissue?
Yes. So there's two parts to this. At least in terms of how I look at it in the frameworks that we use. So
Great.
there's kind of the more rigorous neuroscience, and then there's the kind of energetic part, which is rigorous neuroscience. Maybe that's not the right word. Maybe it's to say it's the nerves, like the axons, the electrical signals, and then it's the perineural, as in like the scaffolding, like the myelin, the sheath around the nerves, that system that doesn't conduct necessarily with the same on-off signals, but it has an electrical bias that can create slower moving fields. So it's like a conductive wire and then a semiconductor type of material. So there's different kind of properties electronically. So where what we're probably best known for is these wow moments that we create with patients where someone will come in with some sort of shoulder pain. They won't be able to lift their arm past, say, 30 degrees. And then all of a sudden, we do our treatment. We scan around on the body and find where their nervous system and their brain are guarding, protecting, inhibiting, where they have the hypersensitivity that could lead to chronic pain down the road. We find where those are neurologically. We stimulate those areas. And after an 8 or 10-minute treatment, all of a sudden they can lift their arm up overhead. And when that happens, it's amazing. I mean, that never gets old, right? That is just so freaking cool to see that all the time. And thankfully, we see it often here. And the clinics that have our device certainly see it on a regular basis there too. But the cool thing about that is that it shows the power of the nervous system and neurological function and that neurological response to injury and trauma, because in that 8 to 10 minute treatment time, we know without a shadow of a doubt it is not enough time for a ligament to heal, for a nerve to regenerate, for any bodily tissues to repair, rebuild, etc. So we know what's happening is a functional change. We know, in fact, that person had that ability to lift their arm up. They were just blocking themselves from doing it. So we didn't actually give them anything. We gave them we didn't give them anything new. All it was the opportunity to tap into some ability that they had already lying dormant there. So this speaks to how our brains and nervous systems, a big part of how they work, because our brains are oriented towards survival and protection. Our brains want to make sure that we live to see tomorrow, and they're willing to sacrifice performance. Our brains want to save energy in case there's a famine tomorrow. Our brains don't want to have us move too fast or lift too much weight or stretch too far because we could get injured, and then we're vulnerable to being eaten, right? According to these evolutionarily older parts of the brain. And so our brains limit us, and through this process, that's one of the things that we're doing is looking at that function, identifying where the brain is imposing that limitation, and giving that individual a chance to work through that. So we often see functional changes by addressing that guarding and protection, that neurological response to injury and trauma. And then when we talk about the energetic effects on healing and tissue, for example, so the device is called the Neubie for neuro bioelectric device, that neuro bioelectric stimulator. And one of the unique things about it is that it's direct current as opposed to alternating current. And so there's a really interesting history here, because direct current, the benefits have been known for decades,